up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thank you very much for checking today's video out. Much appreciated. Actually here in the dentist parking lot, man. I gotta run in here. I gotta get my second root canal this summer, so not looking forward to going there here just a little bit. Want to take a chance to do today's video before I get all numbed up in there. So anyway, guys, we're going to be talking about what happens, what the bass do, or what happens after you get the first freeze in November. We had our first freeze last night here in Missouri. You can see the leaves everywhere out there. And there's something that happens every November when you have your first freeze as far as with the bass, really mood and personality. So we're going to get into that in today's video. And before we get started, guys, I wanted to thank everybody out there that has been using the new Tackle Warehouse affiliate link that I've got going. You guys know that I'm working with Tackle Warehouse now. I'm not affiliated with Baitworks on their affiliate program, but I'm working with Tackle Warehouse, and the link is in the description of this video and on my YouTube homepage. So it's much appreciated, you guys that have been using that link. Definitely grateful for that. Okay, guys, first freezing day out there, what you have with this. Now, usually what you have, like you can see here, it's bluebird sky here. It'd been raining yesterday, so this is a typical first hard front of November. I mean, what's basically November? It's, got 2 more days left. And there'll be more days like this in November where you have some rain followed up by these, pretty radical front comes through, bluebird skies, north winds out of 20 miles an hour. But mainly you have some cold weather. Now, depending upon the type of front, you may or may not have clouds after the front. It may be cold during the front. I mean, every weather system's different. But regardless, anytime you have that first freeze that is in November or sometimes in October, depending upon what part of the country you're in, here's what it does to the fish. It moves them shallow. That's sort of counterintuitive to what you would think. You think that, got cold, it got bright, that all adds up to the fish wanting to move deeper, but that is not true, guys. When you have water temperatures, and it's all about water temperature in relationship to that freeze. When you have water temperatures in the 60s, which it is in most parts of the central part of the United States now, and it's going to be dropping pretty rapidly, but when you get water temperatures in the 60s or maybe even upper 50s, and you have your first freeze of the year, there's something about it, and I'm not really sure what it is as far as what it does to stimulate the bass, but there's a movement of quality fish that goes shallow after that first freeze. I'm talking like immediately after. I'm not talking about a week later. I'm talking about when it gets cold, those fish move shallow. Now, obviously, there's something in play there that maybe we can theorize. We don't really understand. It could have something to do with just the food chain, whether it be the plankton and the algae, the little minnows that feed on it, the bait fish that feed on the minnows, and then the bigger predator fish could all be affected somehow by that freezing temperature at night. I'm not really sure what it is. I would have to theorize, in my opinion, it has something to do with that water temperature drop that happens pretty radical, because so let's say, for example, you've got, low 60-degree water temperature, which we had here in Missouri up until we had this cold weather last night. And then you get a night like we had last night where it got into the 20s. That surface temperature in that shallow water cools off pretty rapidly. And it's going to take a while for it to warm up when you have like today, it's 40 degrees and the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour. So you're not going to get a lot of warming. But when you have water temperatures in the 50s and 60s and you get a real hard cold snap, it may drop that water temperature, the surface temperature anyway, 3 or 4 degrees overnight. And there's something about that. It happens every fall. I'm not sure what the deal is, but those fish move shallow with that. And it doesn't matter what your water visibility is. If the water visibility is a foot clarity, or if it's 10-foot clarity, it's all the same thing. You've got a bigger population of those quality fish moving shallow. And what happens there, they are going to continue to stay shallow until that water temperature drops probably, around another 5 to 8 degrees. Once that water temperature starts to drop in 5 to 8 degrees past the point of the first part of November, when you get that first hard cold front, then those bass will start dispersing throughout different depths. Some of them will move deeper. Some of them will move out a little bit deeper and suspend. A few will stay shallow, but you have a wide range of fish dispersing throughout the lake, getting ready for winter that's coming on. But right now, man, after the first cold front comes through, guys, they move shallow. And one of the best, there's 2 ways to catch them that's really good after it freezes hard. Well, actually 3 ways, 3 of my favorite ways depending upon water clarity. Number 1 is the top water. Even on a day like today where it's bright, you know, a top water bait can still be good, especially if you got a little bit more off-colored water. If you don't have the off-colored water, if you got a little bit cleaner water, a small spinner bait with a small willow leaf blade can work really good, like that Megabass SV3 spinner bait. The buzz bait, I do like some type of a gold or silver blade with either like a pearl looking skirt or chartreuse, something like that. I don't really like black after that when it's real bright like this. And if you have a little bit more off-colored water, say that water visibility is less than 2.5 feet, a little lipless crankbait, like a little 1/4 ounce rattle trap or something like that, can be really good, especially if you got a windy day. So, in other words, moving baits. I mean, moving baits, you know, you'd think that you would have to finesse around with this Bright and Bluebird, but you don't have to, as long as you got that wind, which usually comes after that first cold night. It just fires them up a little bit, man. It's not going to last a long time. It'll last for a couple weeks, and then they're going to start to get a little bit tougher to catch up shallow. They're going to start moving out maybe a little bit deeper. So anyway, guys, whenever you get your first freeze, move shallow, get up and fish that water depth that's anywhere between 1, 3, maybe 4 foot deep. Top water spinnerbait, lipless crankbait, it's a good way to catch them. So we'll talk later. See you.